Hey folks, welcome to another Friday Night Live. As you may see, I am not freezing my ass off in the shop tonight. I'm set up in the living room, which means you're going to hear the sounds of dinner getting made and probably the dog snoring. But you guys aren't the kind of audience that gets torn up over that kind of thing. So I rolled in from a job about an hour and a half ago, finished up just as the sun was setting, and I was cold already. And I was not going to be able to sit still for an hour or so and not become miserable. So we're going to be in here at the wood stove. Let me catch you up on a couple of announcements real quick. There's still time if you happen to hear this before Sunday, this coming Sunday the 1st, if you want to come out to our open house in the West Knox County area of Tennessee. Go ahead and holler at me for an RSVP because we will be preparing some refreshments. We'll make sure we have enough for everybody. I know it's a busy weekend for folks, but we do have a few RSVPs. And we'll do, as usual, we'll do farm tour, property walk first thing for a couple of hours. And then the next couple of hours we kind of dedicate to networking, swapping, hopefully a campfire if the wind doesn't kick up, and we'll have some food. I think there is warm soup on the menu, and we'll have teas and that kind of thing available as well. So if you guys happen to hear this and you're in the local area, you want to meet some of your local homesteaders, people who are into permaculture, regenerative techniques, and all that kind of stuff. If you want to come out and meet the sheep and primrose, then give me a holler at strongrootsresources@gmail.com. Catch you up from the week here a little bit. Still been, consistently busy. I've had very consistent work through this entire month, which I've been very happy about. And it's already looking like I will have at least a handful of jobs lined up through December. So that's nice. Always nice when the slow season hits that it's not quite as slow. And I'm pushing forward on our she's a customer, but really more she's a neighbor and a friend at this point. But our friend Beth, where I've been working on property improvements out there, recently uploaded a video kind of showing the progress. So if you see the videos labeled Urban Food Forest on the YouTube channel, you're kind of gonna be able to go through what I first encountered when I started going out there a little over a year ago, and the shape that we have whipped it into at this point. And while I don't have any hard details to provide just yet, I am working with a friend of mine, and it looks like we're going to be putting together a documentary about the history of that place specifically. Beth's journey, the very, kind of interesting and synchronous way that she and I met, and the nature of what we're doing out there and why we're doing it. I realized that there was a good story to tell. Sean likes to tell stories and is a talented filmmaker. So we've had our initial meeting of what that may look like and have put together an outline. So that's a project that I'll kind of be working on in the coming year. Absolutely. So I'll keep you guys posted on that. So let me acknowledge who's hanging out with us tonight. Hippocrates Garden has dropped the comment present. I know exactly what that means. Thank you for hanging out. And Pippin is reliably here wishing us a happy Friday. And yes, Pippin, it is chilly. It's we're going to get down to the 20s, I think, tonight. We've got some teens coming up. It's, as we call it, it's heat tape weather. So probably for tomorrow night, I'll need to slide underneath the house, fish out the two ends of the power cord that go onto the heat tape on the PEX, and just have that ready to plug up or run the little suitcase generator on it for just a short bit. Or if I don't feel like getting that complex, maybe I just drip the pipes just a bit. So, yeah, it's here. It's finally here. Pippin, he says it's getting close. It's getting to 50. He's got to find his jeans. Hope you can find your jeans. Worried about you, buddy. Pippin, you'll be happy to hear that the Jeep has not given me any grief in the past week. except for requesting a top off of the power steering fluid. So um, Jeep has been behaving itself for once. Let's see, what do we else we got here? Oh yeah, a little bit of farm news. Angel and I got kind of over a course of a few hours here and there over the last several days. I got the I always want to call them joists, but it's not a joist. The rafters, the 2x4s up on the woodshed, and then the decking. Got the decking secured, and yesterday we had enough of a break in the wind that we were able to roll out one of the really heavy duty tarps just to get it in the dry. I was really trying to hold out to go ahead and get some metal or some Tough Techs, but man, that stuff's expensive right now. And we're kind of holding out for doing all Tough Techs, which is the clear stuff for both the wood shed. So I don't want to be super dark with metal, and we need it for the Wallapini. So we're kind of holding out for making one big purchase and possibly be able to get, a little bit of a bulk discount. In the meantime, I decided to drop $60 on a heavy duty tarp, knowing that when I pull that tarp off, put on permanent, I can use that tarp for half a dozen other things around here. So we got it up, we got it tied off, and I saw the wind kick up just enough today to see where else I still need to tie that tarp off. But it was super long, so it covers the top, and then it across the eaves, and then it comes all the way down to the bottom. We've got it anchored on the ground as well. So the way we've got it oriented, I am hopeful that even when we're windy, there's not a lot of opportunity for the wind to get up and under it, which is historically what destroys temporary portable tents around this place. So I'm going to be moving some of our kindling and, as I process more firewood, throw together some kind of simple racking and just have it in there, because the high tunnel is kind of chronically congested with stuff. And we try to use the high tunnel more for equipment and tools and not quite so much materials. So Hippocrates is working on a propane system. Let me read this here. Working on a propane system for the shed to library. 100-pound tanks on sale at Tractor Supply. I wonder if that's the case up here. I should check. So I picked up 4 and had them filled, running the line connections. Cool. Yeah, we use this 100-pounder for just for the water heater. I have been tempted more than once to maybe get an extra and have it filled just to have it on hand. I kind of use a 40-pounder as my backup, as it's pretty quick just to swap it out if I need to. But Dad's got a 100-pounder now that he uses for his propane, for his heat, as his just very backup heat. The wood stove is kind of the primary and the propane's the backup. But it wouldn't be a bad thing to have a couple more tanks up here. So I might see, note time, might see if TSC is doing the same thing. I normally get mine. I think I found one for a good price at Lowe's one year, and then I found another one. I think I got it from Ace. We get it filled at Ace because it's just down the road, and we can leave them on the trailer. We put them up onto hand carts and tie them off real well on the trailer, and then they can reach and they can fill on the trailer, so it's relatively easy. Not too much trouble to do that. And he says we've got a nationwide sale, $128 through tomorrow. All right, and could buy online. All right, cool. Well, thank you for that. I'll look at that. That's probably worth checking in on. And Pippin put tires on his mom's Wrangler. You're a good man. You're a good man, Pippin. So a couple other things around the farm here. Tyler and I got the hard paddock corral for the sheep in place. He and I did stuff that needed the two of us to wrangle those 12-footers. And then a couple of days ago, I went in and I drove in a bunch more T-posts, clamped stuff together, secured things. So we've got it set up so that we can back a livestock trailer to one side, and we actually incorporated. We have the shell of a high tunnel. It doesn't have any plastic on it right now, But the uprights and everything are in place. So we kind of had something extra to tie off to. So we'll be able to back up the trailer, bring the sheep around the backside on the open end. I've got a gate installed there so we can close the gate behind them. And it's pretty roomy. So I can get all, 20 something sheep in there. We'll probably try to find a way to exclude Primrose, because Primrose in a small space is kind of a bad idea. She's a little bit squirrel ball. And I will, at that point, we'll be able to separate. We'll have a rigid surface to use to our advantage instead of chasing sheep all over creation. And hopefully, planning on trying to pull this off, not this weekend, but the coming weekend, load those 2 rams up and send them off to go to the market. So that'll be a nice thing to have checked off the list. And so we've got this set up so where it can stay where it is. It's not, it's together. It should work. It wouldn't be too hard to modify it if we needed to. We do have some extra panels left over if we need to make it a little bit bigger. Not super hard to, pry out some T-posts, but it should work for getting those guys rounded up. And if I ever needed to, to catch and check hooves or anything like that, I can pretty much, just build an electric fence chute all the way to it, and just have them follow me with the sweet feed bucket. So good to get that checked off the list. And we can still cover that high tunnel the panels that we put on, that it wouldn't mess anything up, just to throw the plastic on there and secure it in place. So we can still use that for dry space for the tractor and things of that nature too. Lastly, I held this foraging class online for a lady who came to one of my in-person classes back in the summer. She teaches a literacy program, and she covers kind of science and environmental curriculum. And she asked me to come on several months ago. I've had it on my calendar for a while to do about a 1 hour 101 on foraging for her students, some of which are in the United States, and I think a couple of them are in the Caribbean. So I enjoyed doing that. Had some good questions from those young folks. They were all around 17 years old, and that was nice. So now I've got kind of a little slides presentation that's kind of plug and play. If somebody asks me to do that again, I've already got it together, which is nice. So there's my notes from the week. You guys know what I know. So I'll go ahead and head into the main topic here. Every time we have folks up here, or pretty much anytime I consult with somebody or meet somebody who's new in town and gives a damn about having access to healthy, real, nutrient-dense food, they always want to know where we get ours. And I realize I don't think I've ever really covered that on a live stream before, maybe even on a video at all. So this will serve as, this is going to include people we buy from regularly, people we have bought from occasionally, and a couple of additional resources that I have checked to be, like, I know that even if I don't do business with them currently, I know them. I know their operation. I've, been on site at their operation, that sort of thing. So they're all, they have passed my personal test of legitimacy and all that good stuff. And this is pretty much addressing meat, because we don't eat a ton of vegetable, and what we do eat, we pretty much grow it here. So this is pretty much meat, animal-based products, value-added products, things like that. So, and all this is in the notes. Got the notes updated, so you should be able to see this in the in the show notes and all the description and that sort of thing. So, in no particular order here. Number one is Lick Skillet Farm. Lick Skillet Farm is a family farm, a century farm. They've been continuously in business, same family, for over 100 years. They're in New Market, Tennessee, which is about 45 minutes east of us in Jefferson County. They are a regenerative farm. They pretty much they grow them all: cows, sheep, chickens. They cover the gamut. They're, many hundreds of acres. And you guys have probably heard me refer to Wynn Miller before. Wynn is the daughter of Alex Miller. Alex is the proprietor out there at the farm, and he and his wife run it. They have a number of interns, farm hands. I mean, it's a pretty substantial operation, but they do really good work out there. I've been out there on several occasions to take classes. We held our 2023 permaculture convergence out there. Beautiful place. And they actually have a self-serve freezer. So you can just pull up to the farm store, make your purchases, pay them right then and there, and go on about your day. I'm pretty sure you can order online. Their website is up to date and very easy to navigate. So that would be one of my first that I would point people to here in the Knoxville area. So that's Lick Skillet Farm. Very cool story behind the way they farm. So look them up sometime. They made the transition from conventional farming to regenerative farming over many, many years when they realized how much better it was for everything, for the animals, for the people, for the local ecology. And they're very, very good teachers. They do regular farm tours out there. So, it's worth keeping an eye on their social media presence and all that kind of stuff. Secondly, he's a somewhat smaller producer, but we do business with him regularly, and that is Do-Dash Farms, and that's do-farms.com. Brian Do-Dash, we're out in Jefferson County again. We do much of our beef and pork through him. Angel pretty much decides what she wants to get. My only request is to eat, and she handles the rest. So, we sometimes go out there, but Brian will also deliver out here in Knoxville. So she'll just, you usually email Brian, or do you call him or text him? Both. Email, call, text, and he will, he'll let her know if he's out of anything. But you can just kind of put your order together through him, and then determine if you're going to go out there, pick it up, if you're going to wait until he makes one of his delivery runs to Knoxville. And all of his animals are out there on pasture. We've been out there. As far as I know, all these people send off to processors and then receive the meat back, and then they pack it in their own freezers, and everything is all this. And I should say, everything I'm referring to right now, everything is individually packaged and cut. So you're not in a situation where you've bought half a cow share, although that's certainly an option with a lot of these places. And you're trying to figure out how you're going to fit, 100 pounds of meat in your fridge freezer. So all this stuff can be purchased by the cut, which is kind of what the market seems to demand right now. Next option is pretty convenient, but also a little bit different. So some people kind of aren't real sure how this works, but that's going to be the Knox Farms to Families. And that's usually, if you put in Knox Farm #2 Families, you're gonna be able to pull up their Facebook page. I know a lot of these people they're just on Facebook. They don't have their own websites. So if you hate Facebook, I'm sorry, just set up a burner account, and just so you can access these resources. Nobody makes you put the app on your phone or anything like that. But this is a private membership association model. So if you want to purchase products from their farm store, especially, I think this goes for all products now. At one time, it was just if you wanted to purchase meat. But if you want to purchase product, you need to, there's a yearly membership fee. It's $30. And you sign up. You basically just sign the paperwork that says, I'm a member and I agree to these rules. So the sheep that we are raising is part of that program. Part of the 2 rams that I need to catch, they're going to go to that farm store, ultimately after they've been at the processor. And so you do, there's some communication that needs to happen, but if you follow their Facebook page, they are having pretty much monthly tours and orientation. So you have an opportunity to show up and kind of see how it all works. Once you get your little orientation, you should be good to go. And then you can just come shop from the farm store, during their open hours, which are, I think, basically 7 days a week. And there's, there's a code on the door, so not anybody can just roll in. So there's some privacy there. And you can buy what you want. And if you are a person who wants raw milk, they maintain a list of raw milk suppliers, herd share type of things, which is how it has to work in Tennessee. And you can request the list, and then you deal directly with the farmer that's closest to you, or has the product that you want, or has the model that you want to participate in. But they're kind of an aggregator for that sort of thing. Another fella who has a very cool agritourism teaching model, all kinds of cool stuff, Airbnb in addition, is Tennessee Mountain Farm. And that's going to be Blake Reimer. And Blake is, this is a family farm that he returned to. He and I had a lot in common. I went down and I saw him down at the summer. And he will do chickens. He's got some beef cows out there, and then he also is doing pork raised in the Korean natural farming method on inoculated bedding. So he is, he's growing out these pigs on a bedding of wood chips and biochar, and it's super clean. It's super healthy for them, and he's kind of taking the natural behavior of that pig to root and dig to make compost at the same time. So that's Tennessee Mountain Farm. That's going to be down in Old Fort, Tennessee. That's going down towards Chattanooga. And again, his link, his Facebook page, and he's got an Instagram account as well, is in those notes. So that's one where you can reach out, and you can make arrangements to visit. You can buy from him directly. He's got his own freezers there. He sends his stuff to the processor, gets it back, and sells it to whoever wants to show up and buy it. And it is incredibly high quality meat, animals that have been raised correctly. So definitely recommend him. Lastly, in terms of local farms, down in Greenback, Tennessee, which is a little bit south of us, is Blue Stem Hollow. This is a kind of another agritourism model. They do a lot of farm to table dinners. It is an event space. People hold weddings there, but they're also a working farm. And my friend Brenna Wright is one of the farm managers out there, and they're doing great work. They just seem like they're just growing and adding more every year. So beautiful location as well. So that's Blue Stem Hollow. So you can look them up as well. So regardless, I know I just gave you a bunch of stuff that's specific to East Tennessee, Knoxville area. Regardless, you can always obviously any decent search engine, if you put in, local food or local regenerative meat, that's going to pull stuff up for you. I even tested it on ChatGPT, and it gave me some stuff that I hadn't heard of before that I'm going to go back and look into further, because I want to know these people, and I want to have the opportunity to visit these farms, learn from these folks, and continue to build that local network. But there is a website called eatwild.com, and it is another aggregator for local food producers. So you can put in by, city, state, zip code, that sort of thing. And it will give you everybody who has listed themselves in this. And it's pretty up to date. I check on it from time to time, and it's pretty accurate. So if somebody's no longer producing, they get pulled off of there. Because I think you do have to kind of, renew your listing to keep it accurate. So that's eatwild.com. And, most places have some level of farmer's market. And you will find some meat there. But frankly, a lot of farmers, unless they're a really big operation, they don't send people to farmers markets. They really don't make any money on it. And it's a huge time drain. So, but that is a good place to start asking questions and start seeking further who the producers are. So if you're new to an area, or if you're visiting an area, look up your farmers markets. And some are better than others. Sometimes it's actually the smaller markets are the better ones. Um, the big ones, like the big ones we have here, is a little more about value added products. It's not so much about um, meat and vegetables and basic foods. There's a lot of kind of craft stuff going on. Um, there's a lot of representation from bakeries and that sort of thing, and that's all fine and good. But it just kind of depends what you're looking for. Nourish Knoxville is the one we have here. That's kind of the big one. It's actually run as a nonprofit model. But on the plus side, because they are as big as they are set up to where if somebody is on EBT, many of these vendors can take EBT as part of the transaction. So if you are getting some kind of assistance to buy your food, that doesn't mean you have to buy junk. You can go to a farmer's market and you can buy real food. So more people need to know about that. Let's see here. Pip and I says he made his first order from Polyface. Looking forward to trying out the London broil and the skirt steak. Yeah, and that's true. And this is what is amazing about Polyface. For the longest time, they were not going to ship food. They were not going to do it. And Joel Salatin is on record many years ago saying this. I don't want to ship my food across the country. I want you to find the local food producers who are close to you. Then the COVID stuff happened, and right around the same time, companies like UPS and FedEx became somewhat more efficient, and with since ButcherBox was able to pull it off, Joel and his team looked at the viability of shipping food, even eggs, and they're able to do it. So Pippin, yeah, let us know. I'm sure you're going to get a wonderful product. I mean, they guarantee everything. But if you're coming up dry in your region, if you are truly in a food desert, Polyface is literally shipping from the Shenandoah Valley to California to New York. I think they ship anywhere within the continental United States. With things like dry ice and the kind of packaging technology we have available now, they can do that. And at one point, I remember Joel saying in an interview that they are able to ship eggs to like New York City at a price that's actually better than the organic eggs available in the stores in New York City. Like once people calculated what it costs them to go out, to deal with parking, to deal with fuel, all that kind of stuff, they can get it shipped to them at a better price. So that's kind of crazy, but good that we have that kind of thing available to us. And I'm not 100% sure, but I think White Oak Pastures down in South Georgia, that's Will Harris's operation, big operation. I think they're shipping food too. Maybe don't quote me on that. I might need to double check that. But and a lot of farmers, if they're big enough, they will at least set up drops. So you may not come out to the farm, or maybe they're not set up to have people on the farm, but they can, they'll have drop points, usually 3 or 4. And there's lots of opportunity there. You get to, meet people that you have something in common with. Sometimes they'll do it at a place like a Costco where there's parking room, but sometimes people will do it in their neighborhood if there's, street side parking and there's enough room for 30 or 40 people to kind of show up, grab their stuff, and then head on out. So Hippocrates says, if and when I get free of the current family obligation, I'd like to try the Stephen Skobiak model, the members only you pick orchard. Yeah, I think that's a cool model. And could work in some instances. I don't know if that's something that I want to do necessarily. I kind of want to have a little bit more control over who shows up. But I do want, like, the kind of the nursery idea I have in mind is more of a members model and maybe not so much an open to the public. Or I do it like a pop-up where it's like I have stock that I want to move and I just load it up onto a trailer, make some cool signage, go over to a location where I won't get run off, post about it on social media, that sort of thing in the local neighborhood groups, and see if it works. And but yeah, that could work for folks. Our whole like access and egress thing is kind of weird as the current setup of the driveway. So I don't ever want to do anything where I have a whole lot of people up here. But the lower portion of the property, should we end up developing that out, we can actually, get permit to get a new access from the road, and it would be down there and not up here where everybody's engaging in, just their daily lives and don't want a bunch of traffic coming through. So Pippin says he wants to meet his local farmers. Yeah, buddy, I hear you. I mean, I wouldn't, this is one of those things where I said the same thing for a long time. We were still mostly using the grocery store. So this is kind of like before I started the business. And a lot of it too was money. Like we weren't making enough money where we could easily justify spending what it costs to buy well-produced, well-raised meat. But once we fixed that, we just, we kind of ended up going with, like Farms to Families and Doodash because it's pretty easy. We like the relationships that we've built. It's pretty straightforward. And you kind of get to where you're in a little bit of a routine with it all. So, it's one of those things where eventually you kind of find the people that work, that meet your needs, and it just becomes a habit like anything else. So I think that's what I got for you guys tonight. Everything's in the show notes. I did one more thing that popped in my head while I was talking. If you are in the North Carolina area, Neethi Bali, Food Church lady. If you put in, her name is spelled Nitibali, put in the Food Church. They are another private membership association. Neethi's a very cool, very interesting lady. But if you want hooked up with correctly raised meat, she's going to be a bulldog about that kind of thing more than almost anybody else that I know. I've met her a few times at some conferences and Self-Reliance Festival and things like that. And this is her passion. So if you are in the Eastern United States and you are having trouble making these connections, reach out to her. She's pretty readily available. And she even does, consults and calls and things of that nature to help people improve their health with animal-based diet, which I personally feel is how we are designed to operate as humans. You can also look her up as Neethi the Pharmacist, and that's not PH, but FARM, Farm Assist. She's a super cool lady, and she wishes the best for people, and you can really tell that when you interact with her. So yeah, guys, thanks so much for hanging out. I think that's what I got for you. Been a long day, and I'm kind of ready to chill for a little bit and have some dinner. So if I can help you guys out with anything in the meantime, you know how to find me, strongrootsresources@gmail.com. And we'll talk to you next week.